Welcome back to the Nashville Super Speedway. I cannot believe I am saying this because it feels like the season just got underway, but this is the last IndyCar race of the season. This is a season finale. We've got one day of on-track activity left. This was, well, I don't know, Christmas Eve I called the Indy 500, so this is kind of like Depresso Sado Eve, the day before the last day of school here in the NTT IndyCar Series for 2025. Just kind of crazy. But if you've enjoyed this wacky, crazy ride throughout 25 with the IndyCars and want to see where it goes into the 2026 silly season, which we're going to be talking about in this video, subscribe, like, comment. It's all free. You can do it right down below this video and it will help me out a ton. And of course, we've got more stuff coming. I think we're going to be pretty busy between IMSA and a few other racing events that I'll be covering throughout the year, and of course the IndyCar silly season, which let's go ahead and talk about right now. Of course, you've already seen some of the things that I've been talking about here on this channel, and the rumors and speculation are flowing through the paddock right now. There's no doubt about that, because I've heard some crazy stuff today. But let's talk about some of the things that have kind of surfaced publicly that needed a response from the drivers. The first thing is this big rumor that Alex Palou is being courted by Red Bull as we speak. Now, people like Helmut Marko have come out and said that that's not true, and you know, I've said this in a previous video that rumor was legit. It was coming, it was being said by people who are in some ways credible, and I understand why it was reported. I'm not hating on anyone for reporting that rumor. It is what it is, but it's out there. It's being talked about tremendously. And now we're going to take a look at what Alex Palou had to say about not only the rumor, but whether or not, if Red Bull ever contacted him, would he take it?
For what I know, nothing is true. Like, at least I can say that I haven't spoken to them or my people, or they haven't reached out to us. So I think it's just a rumor.
Sure.
Don't really know where it comes from, but yeah, it's been an okay week. It's not been a bad thing. Like, I think we just had more people knowing what we did here and the season that we had. Maybe for a different reason that you normally expect. It's not because of a win. It's been just because of a rumor. But yeah.
Would you ever consider something like if a Red Bull did come to you and approached you, would that be something that you would consider?
You never know. Like, I'm not. I think in the past I looked for opportunities of like, okay, what's available, what we can do, and I mean that in like 2022. Yeah. Now it's not that way. At the same time, you don't want to close any door. You never know. Same as I wouldn't close any other sport, other series doors. But what I know is that I'm good here. I know what I'm capable of doing here. So yeah, It's good. It's good to hear. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's not like oh yeah, now that there's a rumor, I'm gonna start seeing what's there.
And the other big rumor, and one that I completely believe is true, is standing here right now on the stage here at the, I can't remember what this is called, Borchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix. There we go. I read it off the flag. I've been doing a lot of reading recently. I've remembered how to read. So, the big thing that I believe that's happening next year, and this is just my personal opinion, but I believe that Colton Herta is going to Formula 2 next year. Now, I could be totally wrong on that, and you know what? Hate on me if I am wrong. But I asked Colton Herta in the bullpen on Friday, quite bluntly, I said, Colton, is tomorrow your last IndyCar race? And this is what he had to say. Rumor mill is a big factor right now. I mean, is this your last IndyCar race? I guess I'll ask you straight up.
No, it's not my last IndyCar race. You know, I think there's a lot of stuff that I just don't even have an interest in talking to people about at the moment, you know, especially since we're here in Nashville and you know, we're at a place where I won last year, so that's got to be the goal for me right now, is just to be focused on IndyCar and what Nashville has entailed for us. It's a good place for us to win at, good shot at winning here, especially since what we've done in the past year. So, you know, it's ever changing in IndyCar. We never know what the next season will bring, but you know, for us, we feel confident coming here.
So that's kind of lines up with a lot of what we've heard from other journalists and other media members who have been talking about this particular situation and how Colton has reacted to it. He is not saying the word no. He's saying, I don't want to talk about it. And, you know, I've had the pleasure of covering Colton Herta essentially since he's been a rookie in IndyCar racing. It's, you know, Colton's been one of the guys has been incredibly helpful to this channel. I know him pretty well. And I think that there's something more to this than he's willing to talk about right now, which says to me that the rumors are legit, and he'll likely be in Formula 2 next year instead of IndyCar full-time. Now, many have pointed out that he could theoretically and potentially do the Indianapolis 500. The month of May is open and available in the Formula 2 schedule. They no longer race in Monaco in May. So we could still see Colton Herta. Who knows? Let's actually talk about the race. The final IndyCar race of the season. It's going to be super exciting. And one driver who got beat by Colton Herta last year is Pato, and he's on the pole position. And Arrow McLaren had a really good day today, well, until Nolan Stiegel stuck it in the wall between 3 and 4. But generally speaking, a good day for Arrow McLaren. So I asked Pato about that and also about the race ahead.
Yeah, the Arrow McLaren Chevys around here, even from last year, they were very strong. I think in qualifying we kind of lost it there a bit last year, but this year, you know, all three cars are dialed in. I think Christian's right behind me in 3rd, and Nolan is 7th, I believe. So it's the best qualifying that we've had as a team, I would say, all year. Like I said, hats off to all the work that's also been going on in the background by everybody at the shop and you know, in the development program to deliver 3 very fast race cars, and we're going to be working hard this later practice session to make sure that we can all have a shot tomorrow.
I know you haven't done a lot of laps on the alternates yet, but what's kind of your read on the primes?
Yeah, I didn't want to use the soft on the practice one because I think you're gonna thank yourself to having a new set in the race. So we took a bit of a risk there, but it really didn't seem to be too much of an issue. So I think obviously the deck on the soft is going to be quite a bit more. It doesn't seem to be so aggressive initially, but when it does start hitting a cliff, it seems to be very cliffy, I would say. From one lap to another, you can be looking at a pretty big deficit. On the black, I don't think it'll get to that point, at least from last year's. I know it's the same compound, so it doesn't always translate identical, but I think we can expect quite a bit of how they behaved last year.
And let's take a look at how they will line up for the final IndyCar race of the 2025 campaign. It's Pato on the pole position for Arrow McLaren at a speed of 202.6 miles an hour, easily the fastest in the field. David Malukas on the outside, still looking for his first IndyCar win at 201.9 miles an hour. It's an Arrow McLaren 2 out of 3. It ain't that bad for Arrow McLaren. Christian Lundgaard on the inside of row number 2, alongside IndyCar champion Alex Palou. Row number 3 sees Scott Dixon alongside of Joseph Newgarden, who's looking to get his first win of the year on home soil here in Nashville. As I mentioned, Nolan Stiegel got into the wall in final practice, but the Arrow McLaren cars are still extremely fast. Scott McLaughlin will ride on the outside of him, and he's always fast on the ovals. It's the Kiff dog on the inside of row number 5, Kiffin Simpson, with a great qualifying effort inside of the top 10, alongside of Felix Rosenqvist. Row number 6 sees Will Power in potentially his final start for Team Penske, alongside of Kyle Kirkwood. Row number 7 sees Santino Ferrucci also looking for his first IndyCar win, and what may be his last IndyCar race for a very long time is defending winner Colton Herta. Row number 8 is Marcus Armstrong, who was fastest on the last practice, was not happy at all with his car in qualifying, but is very happy for it in the race. And on the outside is Marcus Ericsson, the 2 Marcuses on row 8. Row number 9 is the 2 Prema cars, Robert Schwartzman on the inside, and Callum Ilott, who has a much faster car than that, but took an engine penalty, and that's why he's in 18th position. Alexander Rossi deep in the field after a 4th place finish at Milwaukee, alongside of Stingray Robb. And then we get to the Rahal cars. Graham Rahal alongside of Devlin DiFrancesco in row number 11. And then in row 12, it's Louis Foster alongside of Connor Daly, which is a super surprising qualifying effort. Row number 13 sees Milwaukee winner Christian Rasmussen on the inside and Rinus VeeKay on the outside, and shotgun on the field in 27th position is Jacob Abel. So real quick adjunct to the starting grid, Nolan Siegel just got a 6th-place grid penalty, or a 9th-place grid penalty because it's on an oval for an unapproved engine change. We assume that's because he hit the wall. That would move Nolan Siegel down to, if I look really quickly, that would move him to the, I believe, the 16th place because he's starting 7th on the grid. So that'll move everybody up that was originally starting behind him, but unfortunately we're pressed for time, and with such a late addition like that, we can't really redo the starting grid. So the weekend goes from bad to worse for Nolan Siegel, and now back to the originally scheduled programming. So we spoke to a few drivers after qualifications, and I think there's some insightful and interesting quotes, especially from some of the guys at the front of the field.
It was okay. We trimmed last minute just because we saw the other couple of cars run, and we missed the balance. Had a load of understeer, had loads of understeer even in 1 and 2. So that was kind of frustrating. And hopefully, I think we helped Alex there a little bit with just telling him how our balance was. Maybe we would have been better, not so trimmed, but it is what it is.
Looks like about 1.5 lanes, kind of similar to last year. Is that kind of your expectation?
Yeah, but honestly, this morning we went to, because when I had the engine failure here at the test, we missed most of the running in the day, so we ended up doing some race running today, and it looked like there were a lot of people that were really struggling. So, we seemed, decent. You could get really good runs out of 2 and 4. Looked like last year, especially, Exeter 2, people could kind of hang up there a little bit. I expect that'll be true, once we get into some highline practice and, once the race gets going.
So if guys are struggling, a traffic-heavy race, do you think?
Yeah, it'll get spread a little bit. People will kind of get into their, chill mode a little bit, maybe look at some fuel-saving options. But then I imagine, kind of the last portion of the race is going to be pretty hectic.
It was beautiful. It was awesome. I mean, a lot of these guys for this Nashville being super speedway, it's high speed. A lot of these guys are staying flat, right? That's kind of the goal. And from that point on, it's up to the engineers, up to the mechanics, the car that they've built. And man, that car was so beautiful. I mean, I knew as soon as I even did the warm-up lap, I was like, whoa. They just gave me an epic car, so this is going to make me look pretty good. But big kudos to the guys. I mean, they gave me a damn near perfect car. We were thinking about it all the way until we got into that, until I got seated in the car. So big, good job from all of them.
Okay, you've just described that as epic and perfect.
Yeah.
How do you translate that into your first IndyCar win tomorrow?
Things just need to go our way, I feel like that's kind of been the season. We get these almost. I even said in Milwaukee, we're almost, but man, it's the last one of the season. It would be good to just no more almost and just do it, victory lane or a sticker or something. We want it bad, and I mean, this crew's young, so we just keep pushing for it. I don't know, it's going to take everything, right? 110%. It's the hardest thing ever to win IndyCar, to win a race, and especially when we got Alex Palou having the season of his life. I mean, I was right behind him in Milwaukee, and man, it was tough. We were figuring it out halfway through, and then things obviously went sideways for us, but yeah, we'll give it everything.
It was good. Yeah, I'm happy with the P4. I don't think that we could have trimmed much our car. So yeah, they just had more speed, or they just trimmed it a bit more aggressive.
So after Milwaukee, it looked like you figured out how to tire save on an oval. Don't lie, you figured it out. So this looks like it's going to be a bit of a tire deg race. What can you use that you kind of learned at Milwaukee and perfected at Milwaukee to run up front here?
I think the way you drive is very different. Like the way you load the car, the way the car feels. Like here, it's very. I wouldn't say it's similar, but it's more like Indy or maybe Texas, and Milwaukee is just more like a road course. So that's probably why I got there a bit quicker. But yeah, I'm excited for this afternoon, see if we can run that second lane a little bit. Last year, I think it opened up, especially when the tires were degrading, which is good. And having those alternates that nobody knows what they're going to do is good.
Seems like everybody's saying, like you mentioned, it's about 1.5 lanes right now. That's about what it was last year. But I guess Firestone said there's a third lane that's the most grippy. Did you hear that?
Third? No, first time.
So I think
I've seen on the track walk, like you can see from, maybe not from here, but you could see it on the track walk that there was rubber up there. I don't know. I think it's only a Connor Daly's line. I don't know if I'm going to...
guess who said it?
It's Connor?
Yeah, it was Connor.
Yeah. So I'm not going to try. If I see him making it work, I might try.
How much to try it? I'll give you $200 cash.
No, just for you. That's for you. Yeah, no, there's no money that. Well, I mean, there's always
there's
money.
money. Let's make a deal.
Yeah. No deals. Okay. I'll let Connor try, and if he makes it work, I promise I'll try.
Okay. So let's talk about tomorrow's race. Much like last year, it looks like it's about a 1.5 groove racetrack. You're going to see some guys pushing up and hitting the outside wall. We've seen that in practice. we will see that in the race, and especially as the tire runs go on, the marbles build up. There were some drivers that were told by Firestone there was the most grip in the third lane. I'm not so sure that's true, but I guess we'll see on the start if anybody goes all the way to the top on the start. But again, you have alternate tires, both a soft and a hard compound. They did that here last year. Should add an extra element of strategy to this race. Should be pretty exciting. We'll see how that plays out. It definitely hurt Pato O'Ward here last year, cost him the win in his duel with Colton Herta. Speaking of Pato O'Ward, I mean, I'd be very hard pressed to see Pato O'Ward not winning this race tomorrow from the pole position. I think he wants to finish this year on a high note and start his championship fight for 2026. I think there's some other drivers, though, that will have a good chance. Obviously, you look at Team Penske. They'd like to end the season on a high note after one of their worst seasons since the 90s. And Will Power, of course, it might be his last race for Team Penske. He got in the wall in practice, so he's going to be wanting to end on a high note. And if with the story of first-time winners, we know of Christian Rasmussen winning last week for Ed Carpenter Racing. There's a few other drivers that can knock that off of their list tomorrow. You think of David Malukas, who may be the shoe-in to run at Team Penske next year in the 12 car. He certainly would like to go into next season with a win. Connor Daly starting deep in the field, but never count him out. He's always good at these types of tracks, but it'll take some serious strategy to get him to the front. And some drivers who are looking for their first wins with new teams, well, I think you look at Christian Lundgaard, who I think if he could score a win on an oval, that would be significant for him, especially looking ahead to the championship of next year. And then, of course, if you think about Alex Palou, he can't win 10 races, which would tie the record set by A.J. Foyt and Al Unser Sr., but 9 wins would be an incredible exclamation mark on a season that has been so historic for one Alex Palou. Rookie of the Year battle as well, going down to the wire between Robert Schwartzman and Louis Foster. Schwartzman has the advantage. Foster is going to have to fight with a Rahal car that doesn't look all that good. So if Louis Foster wins the championship in the rookie battle, that's going to be a significant milestone for him. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube. Subscribe for more content, and we'll be talking about the final IndyCar race of the season tomorrow. We'll see you in the next video.